Hello. Welcome to Unsolicited Advice. Just came back from an intuitive massage down at the Healing Arts Metaphysical Center. Sorry if I said that wrong, Angelica. Great place to go. They are in, where? Geneva? Batavia. Yeah, you can look them up. They do a whole bunch of different things like shamanic healing, intuitive healing, Reiki healing, and a million other things that I just don't know that they do. Also, Luna has an opinion. So not only did I get a massage, I got my chakras aligned, and then I'm not sure what else Mari did, but she pulled a bunch of stuff out of me, and so now I had to podcast. I rushed in the door and told Ben we were podcasting. So here we are. So today we are going to talk about setting boundaries with family and toxic friends and toxic family, and we all have some. I'm sure. Maybe some people don't. I don't think my husband has any toxic family. I don't think so. No, he's looking at me like he doesn't. So, but I knew no other people in my life have that. And I just experienced some massive toxicity from my family that was visiting down here. My parents came to visit and my watch is going crazy. Sorry. They decided that they were coming regardless of the fact that we were not really in a great place. We were grinding for our business, doing some things different, changing things up, and, not really the greatest time, but they came anywhere to visit for the 4th of July. For anybody who doesn't, and there's probably all of you who don't know my parents, maybe some of you do. But either way, my stepfather tends to be a very grumpy old man because he suffers from chronic pain in his knees. He recently had one fixed, and the other one is due to get fixed in a few weeks here. But it has turned him so negative about everything. And when they first arrived, we were in a place of zen, for lack of a better word. We were trying to be in a place of zen. We were doing some recordings, which a whole shit ton of you watched that nice little hamburger. What did we call it? Hamburger pie. Ben doesn't want to talk in this podcast. So sometimes when I don't know the answer, I just look at him and then he has to shake his head. So that's why we have pauses. Anyway, so if you could have only heard the real audio behind that recording, either way, it was a very trying time for us. And, it just got to the point where we were out at our trailer for a week. If you saw my TikTok, you saw all the trailer things happening. But we had a little family discussion before we traveled on out to the places out of the city. And I kind of laid the law down and said, listen, I don't dwell in this place of negativity. I've worked really hard with my mentor and intuitive readings and healing and pretty much anything that you can do spiritually that doesn't relate to religion. I said that, not that I have a problem with religion. I'm happy for you all to experience it. However, things were very stressful for myself and Andre and our team. And we were, kind of felt like we were getting attacked by all sides. So bad time for family to visit, especially when the family visit can often be more stress than you bargained for. So fast forward through that whole week and back to the house we come, and things were tense and my patience was thin. And, I obviously wasn't being the greatest version of myself, but I was doing everything I could to keep my shit together. And it just so happened that on Monday, after the criticizing of my potatoes, that was the end of that shenanigans. So I spoke my mind, which included, if you don't like what I cook, then don't eat it. And I got promptly told by my stepfather that now bear in mind, we're in my house, the house that my husband and I pay for, that I should keep my nose out of other people's conversations while they're at my kitchen table. That didn't go over so well, as I'm sure you all can imagine. And I politely, not so politely, said that I would wanting them to leave on Wednesday because we had Ben's birthday yesterday. By the way, he hosted. There was delicious burgers. The hubby cooked them on the barbecue for the first time he was trying. But it was great. Anyway, either way, I made a very slidey, interesting cake. But whole point, I digress. I went upstairs to find my little happy place away from my stressor. And I believe that they exited the table. Picture would have been in not a Norman Rockwell painting. We had 2 plates with piles of very watery mashed potatoes and glasses of ice water that were promptly melting everywhere. And my parents are upstairs, and all you heard was banging of suitcases down the stairs. And I came back down the stairs. My daughter asked me if grandma was leaving, and I said yes. And she yelled up the stairs to her grandmother, and my mother decided to tell her that it was my fault that they were leaving. Fine, whatever. I'm oftentimes the punching bag for my family and the person that they like to blame, so I can be the villain. Not a big deal. However, my mother opted to tell my daughter that she would see her soon. My parents live in a different country in Canada and don't often come down here. So, my husband just walked in here with a whole bunch of food, even though I just ordered him a Fat Man's Wendy's for lunch.
Yeah, you did.
So,
On the phone.
anyway, Fat Man's Wendy's are coming. And, so she said, "Oh, we'll see you soon." And I said, "Mom, please don't lie to her, because like you're not going to see her soon, because they don't come here often, and I refuse to go there because my brother is a selfish shit." So, yeah, so she walked out the door and she said, "Well, you're probably right because I have cancer," and slammed the fucking door behind her and left. Oh, wait, no, sorry. She didn't leave because she forgot her marijuana. So she knocked on the door and rolled back in to get it, at which point I said, "You're just going to drop that fucking bomb on me, you dumb bitch." And yes, I said that. And she looked at me and said, "Well, I tried to talk to you about this, but there was just not a good time. And also, Jeff's waiting for me in the car, so we have to go now." And I was like, "Okay, if you leave, I'm not calling your ass." And she left. So after much anger and sadness and guilt and a plethora, spell that word out when you're putting the copyright or the captions in, plethora of other words and emotions, etc., I have decided, after speaking to my mentor, Angelica, that the healthiest version of this is that I surround myself with people who genuinely care about me and who are on, my team and who want me to be peaceful and happy. So as we do, you make your own families, because sometimes your family lives far away, or sometimes your family don't accept you for who you are, or sometimes your families are just plain old assholes. But either way, I decided that part of my life is not a part of my life at this time. And should my mother decide she wants to reach out and talk to me about her cancer, we think, could have been confirmed by my intuitive mentor-y person, but we're not 100% sure. But however, either way, if it's true, shitty thing to do. And if it's not true, even shittier thing to do. So healthiness is to stay away from that situation. So even though it's hard, even though I'm going to be going through a massive range of emotions, from anger to guilt to sadness, because in essence, as Ben stated yesterday, she's dead to you, kind of. So you're grieving. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. So anyway, why did I just tell you this long rambling story about my life? Because I think that we all need to start normalizing the fact that families are families and you're born into them and they are your biological relatives, but they are not always the best choice for the people that are going to love you the most. And it's okay if you don't have relationships with them that are expected of you. You do not need to have mom and dad over for every Sunday dinner or go there if they don't accept who you are and who you love and who you marry or where you live or the other a million things. We don't need that. They may need you, but you do not need them. They, as my husband said, are sometimes energetic vampires, which I confirmed yesterday. And Angelica put it into a different kind of a way. She said, that sometimes when you put a lot of effort into yourself changing and accepting and doing the things that are most beneficial to your growth and, breaking generational trauma, which I have in my family, and accepting that you don't need to continue in that way, you emit a certain sort of lightness, a happiness, a peacefulness. And, she is an intuitive healer. And so she just exudes this as a normal situation. And she said the nicest way that she could put it from a neutral standpoint is it's kind of like a moth to a flame. It's bright, it's pretty, it's shiny, and they want to be close to you. So you need to protect yourself from that because unfortunately, once you have evolved beyond that situation, you cannot be dragged down into that again. So my unsolicited advice is surround yourself with the people that compliment you, love you, want to be around you, accept you for who you are, and are excited and happy for your changes that you make because they too are making those changes to be a better version of themselves. And that could look different for every single person. All I can say to you is that I now have a boundary, a cocoon, or whatever you want to call whatever. I live there with the people that make me the happiest. And other people are around me, but they're not inside of there. So it's okay if that happens to you. If you're one of those people that was like me before that situation happened, that was just hanging on to the nostalgia of things, trying to make some sort of a semblance of a happy family, quote unquote, just because society expects it or because your church expects it or because your friends, family, whatever situation, you don't need to do that anymore. And it's not an easy journey and it's not an easy thing to do. I was just lucky that mine just got kind of severed and now I just deal with that. So, yeah, that's about it. Now it's all out. And I hope that you have a fantastic day. Follow us. Follow me, because I guess it's not really an us other than my producer and the other people standing in this room. If you want to hear more about my opinions, that might be your opinions too. Have a wonderful day.